We is back. Expect we go live for the games. Come on. You know the Ravens don't play today, but no everybody ain't Ravens fans. Sure, hit that like button. Hit the cash app. Hey, I'm running. I didn't know nothing about none of these guys. The Charlie Kirks, the Nick Fuentes. But these guys, yo, the rhetoric that comes from these people is crazy. Like very little truth. I knew about Ben Shapiro, but I ain't really paid attention to none of these other guys. It's amazing how many of them it is. Yo, the amount of people that speaks on the black community that's not a part of the community is crazy. What's up, Charles? Man, you know, we just finishing off the month. Finishing off the month strong. You know what I mean? We're gonna dedicate the month to white radicalization. You know, I think it's the appropriate time to do it. You know, considering the climate that we in the United States. You know, just give it the proper attention that it deserves. You know, it haven't been getting enough attention. I don't believe, you know. I think largely been flying under the radar and they've been able to participate and do some of the wildest things and say some of the wildest things and it's going unchallenged, going unnoticed. Just think it's time we talk about these things, man. Just think it's time. Hold on real quick. Yeah. Oh my God, you go. God damn, hit that like button. Yo, 150 people, one like. Come on now. God damn. I'm glad y'all here though, y'all. Are we ready to discuss Nick Fuentes? I see he got a large following as well. And I ain't never paid these guys no mind. For the most part, all they do is spit rhetoric. You know, very little truth. But you know, people like believing, you know, people like for you to reinforce their beliefs. It's a lot of money, y'all, in reinforcing other people's beliefs. Very little money in the truth. People would much rather you, what's up, sir, reinforce what they already believe as opposed to you tell them something different. Say he's generally right? About what? What is he generally right about? See, like I said, I never paid this guy no mind. But lately he been coming yeah, I had Kool-Aid in a long time, brother. I seen a video and he was talking about black people. Nick Fuentes just nuked Black America 3 weeks ago. How the fuck can you? How does that happen? Let's check this out, man. Let's see if he was generally right in this video. Hit that like button, y'all.
Augment Code is the best AI coding tool for
You say
professional
it's a
software
Klan rally?
engineers.
I can believe it. The feds should be there.
They've put a lot of time and effort making.
That should be a perfect time for the feds. You know, if everything is fair, for them to stake out. Oh, these Hodge twins, fuck boys. Yeah, I don't like them. I've been on their heels I used to be on their heels years ago. But this is a perfect time for them. What's up, Shawnee? This would be the perfect time. If it's a Klan rally, the feds should be right there waiting with indictments. You know what I mean? They should be handing out indictments as the rally proceeds. Now, these two guys are fucking clowns. I remember these guys when I first got. Matter of fact, these two guys are one of the reasons I got on the internet. The Hodge twins. Like, I ain't never see a group of coons to this degree a day in my life. I'm glad, appreciate it, Paul. Because I don't, he might not be either. Like, I don't know. I know he pushes rhetoric. But let's check him out. What did he say about Black America?
About this, by the way, I know a lot of black people see this and they go, man, why are you always talking about black people, this and that? Because there just needs to be some shame here. Well, there's a few reasons. First, white people are every single bit justified in being racist.
Damn.
Every single bit justified, to the extent that that means going out of your way to avoid black people when you see them.
Damn.
Every bit justified. And you want to know why? Because we see...
Yo, what the fuck is this? Y'all really watch this motherfucker? Hey, yo, this is crazy. Yo, y'all really support that? Wow, man. Yo, we ain't never gonna get right in America. If people really support this shit and think he's speaking truth, like, god damn. Let's check him out, though. I'm surprised YouTube allows this.
What happens? And nobody is under any obligation due to liberal ideology to put themselves in harm's way. If you're a white person and you're going to work or going to the ball game or going to the city at night, you don't want to enter into the terror dome where you're suddenly in a sudden death match. You're like in the gulag in Call of Duty fighting for your life all of a sudden because you got on the wrong train car. Because a car full of black people.
Hey, yo, that's not the truth, yo. Yo, for the most part, yo, white people are safe in black communities. You understand what I'm saying? Yo, nobody is just going around picking on white people. You know, you can be unfamiliar in the black community and be safe. Yeah, that is a lie, man. Like, yo, why do y'all sit back and listen to this is one of them situations where I tell y'all people just want you to reinforce what they already believe. You understand what I'm saying? People want you to reinforce what they already believe. Y'all already believe this, but the only reason you believe this is because of media manipulation. It ain't because you actually had a bad experience with a black person. You understand? Because most of these communities that people like him talk, that people like him is from, he probably, where he grew up. That's fine. Let's check in the Nick Fuentes. Where's my phone at? Right, damn it, where he from? Let's check this out. Let me show y'all something. What city is Nick Fuentes from?
Nicholas J. Fuentes was born in Chicago, Illinois, United States.
What part of Chicago? What part of Chicago is Nick Fuentes from? He gotta be. Okay, he from the burbs. And what's the demographics there, JB? What's the demographics of the part of Chicago he from? LaGrange Park, Illinois. LaGrange Park, Illinois. Demographics. $13,000 people with a median age of 41, medium household of 113,000, and home ownership rate at 79.9. The largest ethnic group is white, non-Hispanic at 78.3%. What the fuck? What issues has he had with black people? I'm willing to bet, growing up, every issue that Nick Fuentes ever had was with a motherfucking white person. I'm willing to bet. Let me show y'all just in case y'all think I'm making these numbers up. Yo, how can you listen to somebody like this that didn't grow up around black people, don't know shit about black people, but say things like this? Like, yo, that doesn't make sense, y'all. Does that make sense to people? He didn't grow up in none of these communities to be able to say anything he's saying. Like, yo, y'all, see, look, y'all want to call names. Y'all don't want to deal with the facts. Hold on. Let me show y'all just in case y'all think I'm making it up. Let me pull it up on a computer. Let me pull it up on a computer. Grange Park, Illinois. Hit that like button, y'all. This where y'all man is from. That man's from a small ass town. 81% white. Because it matters. You understand what I'm saying? It matters. How can he speak so boldly about black America and he from a city that's 81% white? Yo, like, just think, that makes sense to y'all? Yo, any logical thinker would say, yo, there is no way he knows what the fuck he's talking about. There's no way. If you're being logical and not racist, just step out the racist part of your brain for a minute and just let's deal with logical and logics. If I'm from a city, I'm from Baltimore, 60% black, 60, it was 70 at one point, right? Yo, I can't tell you and speak boldly about the issues that's going on in fucking Wyoming. What's up, Major? How can I do that? How would y'all look at me if I'm coming from Baltimore? If I'm speaking about issues in Utah and the problems in Utah and what the Mormons need to do to fix Utah and why black people don't like the Mormons, yo, I would sound idiotic. I would sound idiotic because, like, yo, how many Mormons do you know? You feel? How many black people does Nick Fuentes rub shoulders with growing up to say some of the things that he's saying? Like, yo, that shit sounds stupid, y'all. And anybody that agrees with it sounds fucking stupid. I'm saying the chances are, Tim, the chances are him growing up, he hasn't had not one bad experience with a black person. You know, life is about odds, probability, chance. You understand what I'm saying? That's why you do fractions and do numbers in school. Because that's what life is about. It's about chance, probability, odds. Don't you know when they taught you odds in school? What is the odds, right? That Nick Fuentes, who grew up in a city that's 81% white, What is the odds that he had any negative confrontations with a black person? Fucking damn near slim to none. Because everybody he had, any problems he ever had was with his own people. And you coming from a small town. You coming from a small town. Hold on. .5% black. So that 2.5% black, right? And remember, this is a town. Shit. Remember, this is a town who median income is 114,000. So the chances are the 2.5% black people that he bumped shoulders with was well off. They wasn't living in poverty. Let's get back to the lies. Yeah, I ain't never said I was a victim. Right now, white on white crime is the issue. Y'all need to be focused on that. Because white on white crime is out of control. So it's a lot of things going on right now in this world that needs attention. And he talking about the black community, he got a fucking line. Let me send you out your way, hard drives, since you want to be racist. We don't deal with racism. We can have conversations, but we're not dealing with racism.
People pulled up on you by the bus stop. You turn and you walk the other way.
What's
You avoid their
Tyler,
neighborhoods.
huh?
You avoid
Snake
going out
out.
on Memorial Day or Labor Day weekend at night in certain places. When you see them, you start walking in the other direction. And
I think we start walking the other direction when we see these white radicals. To be honest, I think white radicalization is a huge problem in America. We need to start walking the other way when we see these motherfuckers, because you never know. They might be strapped with a bomb. And then you got fuckboys like these guys, who are the biggest clowns on the internet, at least top 3, sitting back laughing because they don't know shit either. I love to debate these dudes. I would love to debate both of them. Me against both of them. I guarantee y'all look at them different. I bet you. What you mean why I'm so mad? Because look at this. You would be mad too. If I was telling y'all, if I keep running the narrative on white crime and what needs to be, I think it's a parenting issue. I think it's a parenting issue in white America that's allowing these kids to be radicalized to the point where they committing violence against innocent people. I think parenting is a problem. I think parenting is a problem. Straight up. I think y'all neglecting y'all kids. What if I ran narratives on that? What if I took the small percentage of the radicalized kids that's doing all these crimes and made that the face of y'all community and say, yo, this is an issue and we need to attack them vigorously? What if I said that? What if that was the propaganda machine that was running? You wouldn't be mad about that when you know that's not the truth? When you know that that's a small percentage. That ain't the truth. Just like it's a small percentage of people committing crimes in the black community. Most black people get up and go to work every fucking day, just like any other race of people. Most black people in the hood get up and go to work every single day. Got careers, taking care of their family, just like any other group of people. But you got fuck boys that ain't never been in the community. Ain't never been in the community. Ain't grow up in the community. Don't know not one black person in his childhood. 2.5%. Chances are he went to an all-white school, all through school. So where is he getting this perception of black America? Through media, through propaganda, through movies, through radio. You understand? But if we ran that same propaganda on white radicals, y'all would look at white people different. The world would look at them different. Rap music is another one. Yep, rap music. The world would look at them different. Just like how I told y'all, like I always tell y'all, hit that like button. Like I always tell y'all, when they talk about black fathers not taking care of their kids and black mothers on welfare, yo, but do y'all know that welfare is a white woman's program? Do y'all know that per capita and by the numbers that white women benefit still currently today way more for the welfare program than black women? Y'all wouldn't know that because that's not the narrative. But it's a simple Google search. Simple Google search. Look it up and come back and be like, yeah, you're right. But since that's not the propaganda that's being ran, look it up. D, I ain't just talking. Look it up. Look it up. Look it up. You think I'm lying? See y'all see that's what I'm saying. If I was over this bitch lying to you, you would believe me. If I was over this bitch telling you the same shit that Nick Fuentes is telling you, you would believe it.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's culture. Democrats are going to save you. I don't think it's culture just because the music we listen to is. Yeah, I know. White people don't fall for it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Just black people.
So I see this stuff and look, yeah, we are going to call it out. We, the Americans, we the white people of America, we the peaceful, law-abiding, tax-paying people of America are saying, hey, blacks, get your shit together. Get your shit together. We are f***ing tired of you. We are tired of seeing this stuff. It always seems to be you. Do you know that, and I'm just expressing what is a common sentiment. Do you know that everybody thinks that if we snapped our fingers and you all disappeared tomorrow, everybody thinks our quality of life would go up?
Yeah, it would definitely go up.
Look at this dumbass. They
We're
stupid
the
as
third
shit.
biggest demographic in the country, right? But we account for a majority of the violent crime. So instantly, if we was to, black people, our people, was to disappear overnight.
The largest single group in 2019, 43% of welfare recipients were white, while 26% were Hispanic and 23% were black. The white population constitutes the largest group of food stamp recipients in 2020 at 44.6% of adults and 31.5% of children. White people receive the largest numbers of benefits. Let's continue.
Hey, you could almost close down the majority of the prisons in the country. That's saying something. Yeah. How does 13% of the population account for a majority of violent crime in this country?
Look, you see that dumbass shit? Yo, that is a dumbass statement. That's a dumb statement, yo. Hold on. I'm gonna get to that dumbass statement. Hold on. Yo,
You realize?
you can't just say that, right? You can't just make those claims without explaining it. Yeah, but y'all see, y'all don't wanna have real conversations. Yeah, this is why I keep doing these lives. 'Cause I love when y'all come over here, because we need to have a real conversation, man. Because y'all not getting real information from this. All y'all getting is stereotypes reinforced to y'all. That's all y'all getting. You getting reinforced stereotypes, not real information. Yo, it's the reason why crime is in the black community. But what is the reason why these kids are being radicalized and nobody's doing nothing about it? Y'all can give me all the reasons why the black community is how it is. But do y'all know what's going on and why these kids being radicalized? Can y'all tell me that? Can y'all tell me that? Why are these tell us? I want to know. And what needs to be done to fix it? Because this shit been going on for 20 years now. For 20 years, at least, We have been dealing with radicalization of white people, kids and adults. What needs to be done to fix it? So is it a parenting issue? Is it fatherless homes? Like, what's going on? Lack of role models? I'm just saying, yo, we gotta, what you mean? I ain't joking. Yeah, we looked at the numbers. I just told y'all the other day, it been 228 mass shootings in the United States this year. Know how many was in Africa? 4. Know how many was in Mexico? With the crime in Mexico, you wouldn't believe how many school shootings it was in Mexico, y'all. If you could put a number on the school shootings in Mexico, what would you just an estimate? What would you think it'd be? And how they tout Mexico as this dangerous place, and 8. It been 8 school shootings in Mexico compared to 288, not 28, 288 in America. And y'all don't think we got a problem? Who y'all think doing these school shootings? It ain't black kids. Not by the numbers. See, y'all don't want to have no real conversation, man. If we're gonna have a real conversation, we're gonna have a real conversation. Nick Fuentes be lying. Charlie Kirk, they not experienced enough to speak on what's happening in the black community. I know y'all love to hear it. You understand what I'm saying? I know it's a segment of society that loves to hear that black people is 13% of the population and committing 54% of the murder. I know that sounds great to your ears, yo, but it's a reason why. And it's an economic issue. It ain't about violence. We're not inherently dangerous. It's about economics. But the issue that we're dealing with now, currently today, with right radicalization, that is a much greater issue to the security of America. Because they shooting innocent people. These not street beefs that's turning deadly. This not disputes between the neighborhood versus another neighborhood. This is people that's waking up, being radicalized off the internet, and going out and committing some of the wildest crimes imaginable. And y'all sitting back wondering, ain't saying nothing. You got people like Nick Fuentes. He need to redirect his attention. Nick Fuentes need to redirect his attention to the bigger issue that we're dealing with in America right now, and that is radicalization on the left and the right. That's what he needs to focus on. Because I think that can be fixed. You know, Trump like fixing everything with police. I think police have fixed that. Police not going to fix the issues in the black community. Because it's not an issue of policing. It's an issue of economics. It's an issue of poverty. It's an issue of resources. You understand what I'm saying? That's what's going on. But as long as you got fuckboys like him that don't know what the fuck he talking about, and he's speaking on issues that he is like way out of line for even speaking on, you ain't never gonna get nowhere. Then you got these guys. Oh shit, I think my computer ready to die. Hold on. Oh no, it ain't. Then you got these guys that don't know a goddamn thing. These guys don't know shit. Look at these niggas. They're fucking double. You got double right here in the corner. They don't know a goddamn thing. Stupid ass motherfuckers.
Why is that?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Let's go to Kalamazoo, Michigan. Let me show you something. Pimpin'. Kalamazoo, Michigan crime rate.
27.16 per 1,000 residents. According to crimegrade.org, the crime rate in Kalamazoo is 27.16 per 1,000 residents in the typical year. Kalamazoo residents generally
Hold on. Most dangerous parts of Kalamazoo. Hold on. Predominantly cities. I'm pull up on my phone, and I'm share it too. I'm gonna share it. Hold on. Let this play.
I'm just saying it. Everyone's thinking that.
Yeah, everyone's thinking that. No matter who you are, black, white, yeah, everybody knows this. The only people that doesn't realize this are black people. Why is that?
When we think of what's wrong with Chicago, it's like utopia. Chicago's like a utopia. Beautiful riverfront, beautiful lakefront, concerts in the park, ball games in the park, beautiful architecture, the best food. You know what the one problem is with Chicago that's driving the businesses out of the Magnificent Mile? You know what the one problem is that's making the public transit unusable? You know what the one problem is that's driving richer residents from the city? It's the crime. It's the chaos. It's the violence. And you know what demographic is almost exclusively responsible for it? It's you. It's black people.
Yo, this guy sounds fucking foolish, man. Yo, but it's not, yo, you can't just say that, though, yo. You can't just make those claims and not explain why. You know what he'll say? Oh, it's fathers. Black fathers don't take care of their kids. Yo, but that's not even true no more. Like, that wasn't never true. Yo, black fathers never just abandoned their children. Yo, that was propaganda. That was one of the biggest lies ever told. And the crazy thing about it is, everybody loved it. You know, people repeated it. But when you start running propaganda the other way, like when we start talking about white on white violence and how it's a problem in America and how radicalization is a problem in America, y'all don't want to talk about that shit. Y'all don't want to admit it. Y'all don't want to admit it, man. Why is that? I did a poll yesterday, and I asked, do nationalist groups need to be targeted? And I think 53% said no, compared to 47% said yes. But if I did a poll, if I do a poll right now and say, should the Bloods and Crips be targeted for whatever they do, man, overwhelmingly, it's going to be yes. Ain't even going to be no motherfucking debate. It ain't even going to be a debate. Why is that? Why we can't admit that it's more than one issue in this country? Why we can't admit that we can focus on a number of different things at once? Why I got to be either this or that? Why did that got to be the case? And then you got these guys who, and I guarantee they ain't grew up in no black community either. I looked them up years ago. I'm pretty sure they didn't. They didn't grow up around black folks. So you got two guys that's mixed, that's cosplaying black, pandering to white people, agreeing with a white man that doesn't know anything about the community. He ain't probably never even gave a black person a fucking handshake growing up, because that's not even the demographics say so. And y'all believe this shit. But here you got me, born and raised in these communities, and y'all want to disagree with me. Make that make sense, man. How does that make sense to y'all? I'm from these communities. Born and raised, went to the schools. You understand what I'm saying? These guys haven't. But they right and I'm wrong. Hey, yo, y'all sound fucking stupid, man. Yo, that sounds stupid. Yo, any logical, reasonable thinker, that shit sounds stupid. For real, though. Man, y'all crazy motherfucker, man. It said Nick Fuentes for president. I hope not. The argument is Nick Fuentes don't know what the fuck he's talking about. That's the argument. Nick Fuentes doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. I'm not in denial. I'm just saying it's incomplete. The numbers are the numbers. You know what I mean? The numbers are the numbers. Just like these numbers. mass shootings in this country demographic wise?
According to AMLO.com, white Americans committed 53% of the 195 mass shootings between 1966 and 2024. Black Americans committed 21% of all targeted mass public shootings between 1966 and 2024. Across all racial groups, 98% of mass shooters are male, with no female mass shooters reported among Asians and Latinos.
Why wouldn't want to talk about these numbers? You see how they try to fudge the numbers by going back to 1966 when it came down to black people to try to make it seem more even. You understand? You see what they just did? They tried to fudge the numbers and went back to 1966. But they wasn't going back to 1966 when they was talking about the white people and all the carnage they left. No, they went back to 1966. But this looks what I'm saying though, y'all. 2025. Mass shootings in 2025.
According to Wikipedia, this is a list of mass shootings that took place in the United States in 2025. Mass shootings are incidents in which several people are injured or killed due to firearm-related violence.
300 people killed. 1,353 wounded in 308 mass shootings as of August 31st, 2025. Why he don't ever spit those stats? This is not an issue? Since we know who's committing them, this is not an issue right here? Yo, we know it's 54% white people committing them. Look at the map. It's the map. This is in 2025, y'all. If we just go back to last, so them numbers, so the other numbers couldn't have been right. If they was already. I'm just saying, y'all. And a lot, and we talking about radicalization. White radicals, mass shootings.
I got the latest for white radicals mass shootings. The first headline, from Associated Press News on MSN.com, is, Denver school shooting suspect posted online about mass shootings and neo-Nazi views, report says.
Won't Nick Fuentes talk about this? Yeah, I don't know no black radicals. What black radicals are you talking about? When is the last time you seen a black radical commit some shit like this? And where are the Black Panthers at now? We talked about that yesterday. Y'all want to revisit that? Where are the Black Panthers at now? Why aren't we focusing on the radical left and right like they focused on the Black Panthers? These guys committed way more crimes than the Black Panthers. Way more. Like it don't even. If you talk about white radicalization and the Black Panthers and put them on a balance beam, that shit gonna tip the scale, man. That shit gonna tip the scale, man. No, we're not focusing on Chicago. Nope, we didn't focus on Chicago long enough. we didn't focus on Chicago for a very long time. We is not focusing on Chicago right now. We focusing on white radicalization. I think y'all gotta do a better job of raising y'all kids. That's my final synopsis. I think y'all have to do a better job of raising y'all kids, because my kids, they ain't doing that shit. You understand what I'm saying? I get my kids. My kids they are kids. They ain't out here trying to harm nobody. They ain't out here shooting motherfucking ducks or rabbits in the backyard. They ain't doing none of that shit. My kids are going to school and they getting an education. You feel me? That's what the fuck my kids are doing. But y'all kids is doing shit like this. To show you what the fuck y'all kids are doing. Denver, Colorado shooting. This the fuck y'all kids are doing. No, yo. I'm just trying to highlight an issue, yo. Like just like they did when see this is the thing about it, yo. This the thing about it for real. Everybody got compassion now. Where was the compassion in the 80s, in the 90s? Where was the compassion then, man? Why we gotta have compassion now? Why is it that now it's like, well, it's just a crime issue. Let's focus on crime in general. Why people didn't adopt that ideology when they was mass incarcerating black men? Why people didn't adopt that ideology? Why now, man? I think if we'd adopted that ideology years ago, I think we'd be in a much better place today. To be honest. If we'd have thought about this years ago, we would be in a much better place today. But it's like now, all of a sudden, don't put everybody in the group. Don't lump everybody together. These are individual incidents. This is not a depiction of the whole community. Now, this is what we getting. But why didn't we have that same mentality back then? You understand what I'm saying? When they was mass incarcerating black men and raised the age that black kids can be charged as adults, and when Hillary Clinton was calling black kids super predators, and Joe Biden was saying that these kids are beyond the pale, and J. Edgar Hoover was saying that the Black Panthers was the greatest threat to national security. Yo, where was the compassion, man? Why wasn't there more people saying, yo, hold up, yo, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right to make a small amount the majority. It's probably in the community, yo, it's probably, I would say 10% of the community that's actually actively committing crimes. But why do we make the 10% the face? Now, if I made the 10% of white radicalization in the trailer parks the face of the white community, y'all wouldn't like that, yo. Because that's not an accurate depiction of what's going on in your house. That's not an accurate depiction. Just like it wasn't an accurate depiction of what was going on in our house when they was showing all the shit that they were showing, when they was running the propaganda on black people. That wasn't an accurate depiction of what was going on in most black households. Maybe fatherlessness, but that was years ago. That's not true anymore. It's not true no more, man. And you still got people like Nick Fuentes and others that's pushing this line, pushing it, Charlie Kirk, another one, pushing this false narrative that black men not taking care of their kids, yo, and that shit ain't true. It ain't true. Yo, every guy I know, every black man I know is an active fucking father. Currently today. I don't know not one black person that don't take care of their kids. I don't. Even if they in the house or out the house, I don't know not one that don't take care of their kids. No, you don't, Rick. No, you don't. You just talking. Well, maybe I don't hang with people that don't take care of their kids. Maybe that's the case. Because I look at that as a character flaw. If you ain't taking care of your kids, then if you can't build a bond and a relationship for the people that you brought on this earth, then you can't be a friend of mine. You know what I mean? If they can't trust you, how the fuck can I? You birthed them. You understand? And I think a lot of people adopted that same concept. But Look at what's going on. Do we got to go back and look at some of these mass shootings?
New details about the Evergreen High School shooter in Colorado. 16-year-old Desmond Hawley was active on a violent gore website tied to 2 other recent school shooters who in the past year have used the site before carrying out attacks, according to a report by the Anti-Defamation League. The organization also reporting the team may have had plans to live stream the attack.
He had been on our radar since at least July.
The ADL says they didn't know his name, but had social media posts that raised red flags this summer. Those posts were shared with law enforcement, according to the ADL.
This particular website is filled with the types of content that glorifies previous mass shooters, whether they're school shooters or extremist shooters. It provides an opportunity for users to signal back and interact with one another.
The FBI telling NBC News they opened an assessment in July into the social media account but could not identify its user. Therefore, there was no probable cause for an arrest or additional law enforcement action. The morning of the shooting, the ADL says Hawley posted this photo of a revolver on X, the same type of gun officials say he used to shoot 2 students last week before killing himself.
Right now, children are killing other children, and they have these websites that are the common thread.
The ADL says online, Hawley also...
You hear this? This is the issue, y'all. Why are we not doing nothing about this? Why are we not doing nothing about this, man?
Expressed neo-Nazi views. A law enforcement source
y'all.
telling ABC News they found anti-Semitic items inside his home. As for the victims, both remain hospitalized.
Why the fuck my It's too bright out here. I gotta go in the house.
As the entire community tries to heal. Dana Griffin, NBC News.
Why are we not doing nothing about this? This been going on for years, man. I don't know. I could deal with the truth. I know we got issues in our community. Just like it's issues in y'all community, but y'all don't want to address them. What the fuck are you talking about, Lynn?
I found myself where I knew I needed to finish my education.
I don't know. I think white parents not I think they're neglecting their kids. That's what I think. From my honest opinion, I think this is an issue with child neglect. Because my kids ain't getting radicalized. I can bet you that. ain't nobody going, my kids ain't been radicalized because they got to worry about me. You come here and do some dumbass shit if you want, you going to pay. I think it's a parenting issue.
Testimony continues next week in the federal hate crimes trial of Dylan Roof. Roof, who is white, is accused of shooting 9 black people to death last year at a Bible study meeting in a Charleston, South Carolina church. A 2-hour video recording was introduced as evidence on Friday. In it, Roof reveals his hatred of African Americans and his broader intentions when he barged into the Bible study group. Mark Strassman is covering the trial.
I went to that church in Charleston, and I did it.
This is Dylan Roof's newly released videotaped confession to FBI agents.
Did what?
I know it's tough sometimes to say.
It's not that I don't want to say it because I don't want to make myself seem guilty. I just don't really like saying it.
For 2 hours, he calmly outlined the details of the church massacre.
So you
fuck the Steelers.
What gun did you use?
Like a lot 45.
Surveillance video shows
So we're not
lambs
talking about black
leading
people.
themselves to slaughter. Mother Emanuel parishioners arriving for Bible
Now
study.
let's take credit for your own race. Yo, this is, yo, see, they're the hypocrites again. So why is it okay for Nick Fuentes to speak about black people? It's not okay for me to speak about this, but it's okay for Nick Fuentes to speak about black people. I think it's bad parenting. You know, I think if my kids were radicalized, I would know. I think I got a good enough post on my kids to know if they got radicalized. I would be the first to witness it way before I get outside my house. You understand what I'm saying? Before it get outside my house to where it start affecting innocent people, I would know first. So what the how is this going down? Where was Dylan Roof parents? How did Dylan Roof parents allow this to happen? Fuck no, I don't support Black Lives Matter.
In June of 2015, in walked Dylan Roof. His fanny pack carried a .45 Glock pistol and 7 magazines loaded with hollow point bullets. The agent later asked,
a suka. Ain't no such thing as free speech. You ain't realized that yet. A suka, you haven't realized. We had to go in the house, y'all, because this light is too light. A suka, you haven't realized that it ain't such thing. It's no such thing as free speech. No such thing as no motherfucking free speech, man. I can't believe y'all thought that. Not many people died for free speech. Because they thought speech was free before Charlie Kirk. Come on now, man. See, that's a whole nother problem. People like to ignore reality. You know, people only pay attention to it when it affects them directly. We had people dying for free speech for years. No such thing as no motherfucking free speech. You get killed, you say the wrong thing in this country, man. What you doing? Just like it's always been. Yo, hey, one of y'all put Chloe in the cage. Just like it's always been. Talking about free speech. How crazy motherfucker you believe that? If it was free speech, they would have never killed Malcolm X. If it was free speech, Martin Luther King probably still be alive. No such thing as motherfucking free speech. Y'all crazy as shit. Can't believe y'all believe that. Y'all better stop believing a lie. Because free speech, freedom of speech would mean freedom of consequence. Right? If they was really free speech, that would mean freedom of consequence. And we know good and goddamn well that is not the truth. We know good and goddamn well that is not the truth. It's consequences you say the wrong thing in this country. Oh, they got my screen black. Hold on, y'all. All right, we good now.
"Why did you do it?" Roof said, "I had to do it because somebody had to. Blacks are raping and killing white people on the streets every day. What I did is still minuscule to what they're doing to white people every day." Roof guessed he had killed 5 people, but it was 9. His rampage had targeted Mother Emanuel as an historic black church. Once inside, he opened fire when the faithful rose and closed their eyes in prayer. Then he cautiously left the church. His right hand still held the pistol. Roof told investigators,
that just lets you know how long this shit been going on. Yeah, it's sad that this was 8 years ago, and we haven't done anything to fix it yet. This was 8 years ago, and we haven't done nothing to fix this problem yet. What the fuck are we waiting for? It didn't take us this long. When the crack epidemic rose the crime rate in the black community, yo, they came back in the 90s. 3 strikes, you out. 3 strikes, you out. Why we ain't doing nothing about this? That's all I'm asking people. Why aren't we doing anything? Nothing. Has there been a law changed? Have the United States government start attacking these radicals? I don't think they have.
Nobody was there. I peeped out the door and didn't see a cop. I kept the last magazine, not because I was going to shoot cops, but shoot myself.
I clearly understand the harm that he did.
Malcolm Graham's sister, 54-year-old Cynthia Hurd, was murdered in the church they grew up in.
This was an attack on a race of people. An attack on the Christian church. An attack on humanity.
Graham wants Roof to get the death penalty, a question of punishment that divides relatives of those murdered. At one point, FBI agents asked Roof whether
Columbine shooting. Oh, what the fuck? This is a video game? Look at this. Why we ain't done nothing? Where's the law? I just want laws changed, y'all. That's it. I just want laws changed. I don't think I'm asking for too much.
I'd do anything.
Oh, you itchy buddy? You're in.
You know, I think parents need to be punished. I think parents of radicalized kids need to be punished. You know, serve as a deterrent. Maybe we can stop this shit from happening again. Maybe we can stop these things from happening. That's all I'm saying. So this was 1999. We've been dealing with this shit for motherfucking damn near 30 years. And we've been dealing with this power for 30 years, man. And we ain't get a law change yet. I want to hear another Joe Biden crime speech. This wasn't enough in 99 to do something about this? Like, oh, this is crazy, man. I want a Hillary Clinton super predator speech.
Down the stairs to the cafeteria, shoot back up the stairs, so people have been shot or shot at in every location. We were being told there was 9 shooters dressed in different attire all across the school. And a lot of that was a result of them moving up and down and firing in every direction.
Couldn't have been stopped. Like the Black Panthers was stopped, destroyed. COINTELPRO. Why hasn't these things slowed down? It seems like they picked up. So whatever laws was changed, it didn't work. We need more. We need to update the laws. Because whatever laws was passed didn't do shit. All they did is put metal detectors in schools. That shit ain't stopped nothing. I think we need stiffer laws. I think we need jail. That's how America normally takes care of issues, you know. When it's black people, you know, they offer jail. They offer prison. I mean, extensive amount of years. I'm just saying, I think this is the first time I'm a proponent of jail. You know what I mean? I think these guys need to be jailed. I think their parents need to be jailed, because how the fuck you let your child get to the point where they doing some shit like this to innocent people? These are innocent people, y'all. Y'all got to keep that in mind. Like, I thought America cared about victims. What's the victims? I'm saying the parents need to go to jail. What about the victims, y'all? We always talk about victims. How many victims was in this? I don't even remember.
And the children were frozen.
PPG News, because Nick Fuentes lying. And Charlie Kirk. They lying. Why do we blame black mothers and black fathers for their kids being in the streets? Why do we blame them then, Nathan? See, yo, the point I'm trying to make to y'all is it wasn't never right. That's the point I'm trying to make to y'all. But as I'm making this point, I'm reflecting the light back at the same people that said these things. Because it wasn't never right. Like what I'm doing right now, it ain't right. Because this is not a depiction of white America. Not as a whole. Just like the gun violence and the death isn't a depiction of black America as a whole. That's a small group of people. It's a small group of people that's committing these crimes. But the media didn't tell y'all that when it came down to black people. The media told y'all this was all of them. This is all of them. You know, 95% knew all fucking violence. Who the fuck told you that?
In a firefight. There were 3 young girls laying on the floor. I stepped over one, and the second one right in the middle raised her arm for help, and it was clearly she'd been shot several times. And
Let me show you this. Let me show you something. What percentage do white people kill other white people?
According to Reuters.com, users on social media are sharing an image that features misleading data on black and white murder rates. Based on existing U.S. government data, all the figures are false.
Of course, all the figures are false. Number of murder victims in the United States in 2023 by race. Of course, I ain't paying for that. Now, why? If I was to Google this is what I'm showing y'all about propaganda. Watch this. What percentage of black people kill other black people?
According to VPC.org, explore national data and analysis on black homicide victimization in the United States, offering insights into the broader trends and patterns.
Oh, they ain't trying to give me the statistics. Well, the numbers is 87% and 94%. White people kill white people at 84 and 90 at 84%, and black people kill black people at 94%. But why we never coined the term white on white crime? Why we never did that? Why we never coined the term white on white crime? These stats are from 2019. Yeah. Total murder, manslaughter, aggravated assault, burglary, larceny, theft, arson, violent crime, poverty, rape, poverty crime, other crimes. I'm just saying, why we never made this a crime issue? You know, it's take it off for race, right? And just make it, and just know the number's not off. For some reason, my computer, I don't like my search engine on this computer. I gotta pull this shit up on my phone. What you mean? You can't see the screen? This is 2019. I think it's 2019. Statistics. Let me get my phone. My phone got a better search engine. That computer sucks.
I can't stop hunting. I had to move over them to go stop the shooters. Turn right, and that's where I found Cleveland and Harris. Obviously. And then the parents came asking us, with photos, have you seen my child? And I can't even fathom what those parents were probably going through. At that time, 99, the world was unprepared for that day and had to learn from what we went through. I never thought in a million years I would see children shot in a school. so many of them. So after Columbine, I didn't know how much it affected us. I'm on duty, so it's my fault. I'm one of the worst people.
80% of murders with a white victim are committed by white offenders. 80%. Black people kill other black people at what percentage? 88% to 90%. Yo, what is the difference? We talking about a 10% difference, man. So why we never had the term white on white crime? Why we never acknowledged that white on white crime was a problem? Why wasn't there a media propaganda machine running that narrative? It's not about it being higher. You know, I thought murder was murder. It shouldn't matter. One person dying by the hands of another person should be enough. You understand what I'm saying? You see how y'all want to move the goalpost. So we dealing with 90% and 80%. We dealing with a 10% difference. But we never called it that. We never made that a thing in America. I just think it's hypocritical, man. I think it's hypocritical, y'all. But what do I know? But Nick Fuentes doesn't know shit. And what made me do this video is because Hassan Campbell had posted something about him. And I ain't even, like I said, I don't know these guys. I'm now starting to pay attention to them now because the algorithm is feeding me their videos. But the amount of rhetoric that they was pushing over there helps nothing. You understand? Helps nothing. So this is the video that made me even speak on this shit. Because Doc, there's people that loves stereotypes. And they love to hear their stereotypes reinforced. It ain't necessarily about truth. It's just about reinforcing my beliefs. A lot of people believe falsely these negative stereotypes on black people because that's what they've been taught. Media propaganda, you know, and things like that. So these guys gain popularity by pushing those same lines, you know, just reinforcing what I already believe. But check them out.
Black people are really struggling, and they're turning into these maniacs. It seems like they don't do anything right. They're obnoxious, they're rude, they're inconsiderate, aggressive, cruel, and, you know, look, nobody hates black people for being black. If there are people like that, I think that's exceedingly rare, and I don't consider myself one of them. The reason that people have negative attitudes about black people is because most people's interactions with black people are negative. Most people's interactions with black people is when you're stuck in traffic and you see a Nissan Altima speeding down the shoulder.
Yo, this is a guy that's from an all-white. This is a guy, yo, that's from a city where it's only 2.5% people black. Yo, how can anybody take that serious? How can you take that serious coming from a man that's from a place that's 2.5% black? Yo, I'm willing to bet he have never had a bad interaction with a black person. I'm willing to bet. He has never, if you was asking what black people do to you, I guarantee, has somebody ever asked him that? Yo, what have black people ever done to you, Nick Fuentes? Growing up. Ask him growing up. Growing up, yo, what a black person did to you, yo? He probably, I'm sure there wasn't no black people around. Yo, we talking about 2.5% black. 2.5%. Hold on. What's 2.5% of 13,000?
2.5% of 13,000 is 325.
Yo, it was 325 black people in this city. Yo, It was 325% black people in this city, man. And we gotta remember, these not poor black people. These are black people with the median in a city where the median income is over 100,000. Man, if we're saying it's a fucking joke, man. Ain't no most of them. See, you see what I'm saying? What makes you believe, Matt, that it's most of black people? No, I'm proving that what he's saying is not. It's no way that happened. Percentages say chances are, yo, that it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Not proving his point. His point, he don't have a point. I think that shit was horrible, man. I don't think he's having problems. I think the chances are that he didn't have any problems because we dealing with black people with a in the area where the income rate is 100-some thousand. It's 100-some thousand. You been jumped 3 times by black people. You white? Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Yeah, fuck no. Hey, what they jump you for, man? Hey, Caleb, what they jump you for, man? All 3 times, man. Run them down. What's all right? The first time they jumped you, what was it about? It's Caleb crazy. What they jump you for the first time, man? Like, run it down to us, man. 1, 2, 3. What? The 3 times you got jumped. What the fuck was it for? What the fuck was it for, man? Since you got jumped 3 times, it was by black people. I want to know. I want to hear this shit. Why they ain't fight you one-on-one? Why they had to jump you, man? He lied. I know he lied like a boy. That's why he taking so long to comment. That's why he taking so long to comment. So he got jumped 3 times about my black people. You a goddamn lie. We listening. We all waiting. Because I was the first, was white, bro. First time was on the basketball team. All right, so they jumped you because you was white the first time. What's the second time they jumped you for? So they was like, oh, there go that white boy, beat him. That's what they did. Hey, Caleb, is that what they did? Did they say, yo, look, man, just the only white boy around, we just go beat his ass up? I ain't never see that growing up, man. But I didn't grow up around white people either. Like I ain't grew up. I ain't had white friends growing up. But I see it was white people around. I ain't see them getting picked on and beat up on. I never seen that before in my life. Just beat him up because he white. I never seen that. I'm sure most of us would probably say the same thing. Nah, man. Matt, hell no, Matt. That's crazy, Matt. Well, maybe you should be talking shit if you can't fight, Matt. Maybe if hey Matt, maybe you need to watch your motherfucking mouth, man. You feel me? I was at wrestling practice, but it was the same dude all 3 times, different people. It was the same dude all 3 times. So you can't say you can't say that then, man. You had a problem with one guy, and he kept beating you up. You didn't have a problem with it wasn't just different black people just jumping on you every time. Oh, there go the white guy. Get him. It wasn't that. You had an issue. What you do to that man? You had to do something for him to keep jumping on you every time he's saying. Yo. Y'all crazy as a motherfucker, man. Let's first listen to Nick Fuentes, dumbass. Yo, he had to have done something. I don't think he just beat him up because he was black. right, dog. The one guy jumped the 3 times. Come on, you can't put that on all black people, man. You had an issue with that dude, man.
And you say, you're not supposed to do that. If everybody did that, it would just be another lane, and, not everybody can do that. But it's like these people have no respect for decorum. They think the rules don't apply to them. They have no respect for society. Like that's their interaction is they are a waiter and they wait on a black table.
How is he putting that on all black people, man? Yo, it's bad. Yo, it's ignorance in every community, yo. I ain't gonna message it, you know. I don't know, man. I don't know why they jumped you, man. I think that was fucked up. If I was there, I'd have broke it up, Caleb. I would have let him jump you, right? Yeah, man. If I was there, Caleb, I'd have been like, yo, nah, yo, fight on one-on-one, man. Stop jumping Caleb every time y'all see him, man. You know he ain't aggressive. I mean, leave Caleb alone, man. Let that man live, man. All he want to do is wrestle and go to school. But it's ignorance in every community. It's ignorance in the white communities. It's ignorance in the Asian community. It's just ignorance. It's ignorance in every community. But the problem is that the ignorance in black communities is exploited. That's the real issue. The real issue is that, excuse me, the ignorance in the black community is exploited, it's promoted, it's monetized, it's all of that. We can do that with any group of people. Like I always tell you, we can go to the trailer park and we can make the trailer park. The media can do this. I can't do this alone. But the media can make the trailer park the face of the white community. You understand what I'm saying? How would y'all like if the trailer park was a representation, publicly, was a public representation of the white community? Yo, y'all wouldn't like that, man. Y'all would say, yo, that's fucked up. That y'all wouldn't like that. No, I'm talking about if we made it the face. If we made the trailer park the face of the white community, y'all would feel some type of way about that, yo, because that's not an accurate depiction of what's going on in your household or your community. Just like in the black community, you know, you make the 1% or the 5% or whatever percentage it is that's committing crimes, you make them the face of the community, and you broadcast that shit to the world. You creating a false narrative. You're creating a false narrative, man. You know, it was a false narrative. Like this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, it's crime that goes on in the trailer parks. You know, it's incest, it's drugs, you know, it's alcoholism, it's abuse. You understand what I'm saying? What if we showed the world that, yo, this is an issue? What about the domestic abuse between a white man and a white woman? What if we broadcasted that and say, yo, white men are inherently dangerous? You know, they disrespect their women. Cause that's a major problem in white communities, man. Domestic violence.
Table, and the black people don't tip. And that's most people's interactions and stuff like that. They go to the DMV and they see a black person behind the counter and they say, oh, here we go. And the person's rude. Now, it just goes to show people are not racist. It goes to show people don't like people that are rude. And people don't, it's unpleasant. People want to be treated with consideration and respect. And it is true that black people are, in this day and age, unfortunately, seem to have very low moral character. It's not even just the violence, although the violence is pretty striking. If you live your life and you know that you're going to be mugged by black people, it kind of colors your opinion or perception of black people, wouldn't you say? If 99% of the carjackings and stabbings and shootings that you see in Chicago are by black people, when you're walking down the street late at night, guess what you're looking for? Black people. It doesn't take a lot of them to spoil the whole bunch like that. And
yeah, but he's not from Chicago. Like he's from the outskirts of Chicago. He's speaking like he's in the city. The part of Chicago he was at, yo, you ain't got to worry about no black people doing anything to you, brother. It's a fucking lie. I heard Joe Biden say that, Mike.
I want black people to take accountability. I'm not
yes, it does matter where he's from. It does matter. Why wouldn't it matter where he's from? Yo, like I can't speak on Utah. I can't speak on Oregon and the crime in Oregon. How can I do that? I ain't from there. I didn't grow up there. I didn't grow up in none of those type of communities. Man, suit the organ, man. So a recovery squirrel, how would you feel if I just ran a whole narrative on Oregon and how, drugs is ramaging the city or the state? You understand what I'm saying? And I'm saying it loudly, and I got a platform, and there's millions of people watching, and you from Oregon, and you like, oh, it ain't really that bad. You know what I mean? Yeah, but what if I made that the narrative or a representation of the whole Oregon? That's not a representation. But you see what it is? I know it is, because white people and black people use drugs at the same rate. But they don't got that narrative. It's not a narrative being placed on white people that drug usage is a problem. Because it's not being profited. It's not being monetized. Yes, they do, man. Like, man, what world do you live in? Yo, what are you talking about? I just pulled up to a tour the other day. White boys out there been smoking big bud. I'm like, damn, what the fuck that is? Hey, man, he outside smoking like somebody do in my city. We in the motherfucking suburbs, the real suburbs. You heard me? Like the black people, majority white. He out that bitch smoking weed. I'm ready to tow his car and shit, take his car. He riding with me. He high as a bitch. I say, damn, this some shit I see in my city. That ain't no fucking difference, man. It's just media propaganda, man. It's media propaganda, y'all. The media can sway public opinion. Yeah, the media can sway public opinion. What's up, James? You're trolling ass.
It just seems that every time I encounter you people, for the most part, it's negative. And sometimes extremely negative, like I could get a gun in my face.
Oh my God.
That's a problem. And people go, well, you are just loaded up with hatred and rape.
Has he ever had a gun put in his face by a black person? More than likely not. More than likely not. As a gun, I swear, somebody need to ask him this. Has a black person ever put a gun in your face, Nick? He just shitted on himself.
It's like, I'm really not. I'm a really friendly person. I'm a really polite, friendly person. I give everybody a chance.
Yo, but how can you say that when it never happened? 420? Like, yo, you can't just say that if it never happened. Like, what are y'all like? Yo, that's crazy. It never happened. So how can you say more than likely? Well, if it was more than likely, it would have happened to you, Nick. He's pushing false narratives, or he's talking on things that he never experienced. He's speaking on things that he never experienced. How I'm moving the goalposts? Black culture fatigue is here. Yeah, it's crazy as shit, man.
Some black person walking in with their pants sagging, and they can't articulate what their problem is or what they need, and they're rude and they're aggressive, and I'm in fear for my life. Like, yeah, I have a problem with all of that. And these black people go, you're racist, you're racist. It's like, no, I just hate inconsiderate behavior. It just bothers me in this damn ass city, because that's all it is in Chicago. It's just these black people who can never take accountability. It's always somebody else's fault.
Yeah, this guy's a fucking bozo. I want to hear one of these speeches. I'm going to show you what I want to hear. I'm going to show you what I want to hear, man. My fucking computer ready to die. Here we go. I want one of these speeches.
The C-SPAN networks bring you long-form public affairs programming from the nation's capital and are a public service of your television provider.
This the speech. I want to hear one of these, y'all. With the recent with the rise of radicalization, I need to hear
The fourth
this.
challenge is to take back our streets from crime, gangs, and drugs. And we have actually been making progress on this count as a nation because of what local law enforcement officials are doing, because of what citizens and neighborhood patrols are doing. We're making some progress. Much
Because
of it is related
I'm glad you said that, 420, because it's a resource problem, man. Like, how can you justify food deserts in 2025. It's an economic issue, man. It's an economic issue. Poverty breeds crime, man. When you're dealing with poverty, you put guns in the mix, you got drugs, or you're gonna have crime, man. But I want to hear, I want Hillary Clinton or somebody in the Trump administration to deliver one of these iconic speeches. We had iconic speeches placed on the black community. I mean, I done showed you a few of them. Look, we heard the 94 crime bill. That speech that Joe Biden gave was iconic. J. Edgar Hoover, iconic. This was an iconic speech. It's Hillary Clinton.
Initiative called community policing, because we have finally gotten more police officers on the street. That was one of the goals that the president had when he pushed the crime bill that was passed in 1994. He promised 100,000 police. We're moving in that direction, but we can see it already makes a difference, because if we have more police interacting with people, having them on the streets, we can prevent crimes. We can prevent petty crimes from turning into something worse. But we also have to have an organized effort against gangs. Just as in a previous generation, we had an organized effort against the mob. We need to take these people on. They are often connected to big drug cartels. They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy. We can talk about why they ended up that way, but first we have to bring them to heel. And the president is...
Come on now. I want a speech, man. Straight up, yo. I need a speech about this fucking, this radicalization. We need to hold our elected officials accountable. Yeah, man. What the fuck you doing, Trump? Yeah, man. We need a speech, y'all. For real. White radicalization deserves a speech. She called these people super predators and said she don't give a fuck why. Same shit Biden said. This was the propaganda machine, y'all. This was the propaganda machine that was running in the 90s. This is 1996. Let's tour again.
Super predators, no conscience, no empathy. We can often the kinds of kids that are called super predators, no conscience, no empathy. We can talk about why they ended up that way.
Yo, but that's a small. That was always a small percentage. You see how they made that the face? You see how she's speaking on a small percentage of kids and made that the face of the whole black community. Why didn't people say this was wrong? If I was to make white radicalization a face of white people, yo, y'all would say, yo, I'm dead wrong for that.
But first we have to bring them to heel, and the president has asked the FBI to launch a very concerted effort against gangs everywhere. In addition to that, he has appointed a new drug czar. You probably saw him Tuesday night. He's one of the most distinguished active military generals that we have in our country.
Many of them.
He's already proven that he knows how.
No, she said many of them.
No, take these people on. They are often connected to big drug cartels. They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience.
Yo, that is a lie. These kids was connected to big cartels? Kids? Kids. Yo, she said these kids are often connected to big cartels. Come on now, man. People believe that dumbass shit, man. Yeah, I don't give a fuck about Democrat or Republican. They all running the same place. Like, yo, people, like, yo, I think that liberal conservative shit is divisive. I think we need to get rid of that. You know what I mean? I think we need to get rid of that whole concept. Like, people just need to be who they is. And if you agree with this person, agree with that person. We need to take the labels off of it. I think them labels is making shit dangerous. Them labels is the reason why motherfuckers can't come to a common resolve. We need to do away with them motherfucking labels. You know what I mean? They both bad. I don't give a fuck liberal, conservative, far right, far left. They all lying. No, but the middle was, yeah, you can play the middle in politics as far as independent, but you can't play both sides either, because that's a problem too. You know, you can't play both sides. But you can flip-flop based on, you know, political views, you know, because I'm not ever going to agree with one party in what they say 100%. And I wouldn't recommend anybody do that, because they all be fucking lying. I mean, they all in this bitch for the money. You know, the middle is what they play. They play the middle. You know, they play both sides turn people against each other. Meanwhile, they stealing money. That's all the fuck they do. They stealing money. Yeah, I agree, John Wayne. But shit, the football games just came on. Y'all make sure I hit that like button. Make sure y'all share the live. I just be having to bring this to attention, yo, because I think it need to be said. I'm tired of these guys like Nick Fuentes and others pushing rhetoric and nonsense when like there's no way possible him being from where he's from should be speaking so loudly about what's going on with black people. It just doesn't make sense. I ain't never farmed a day in my life, yo. I can't go to the farm and be like, yo, I don't think you growing your crops right. You know what I mean? Why you? I think you should add more water. Yeah, like it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And any logical thinker, if you just separate yourself from being racist for a minute, you would know that, yo, that doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. I can't go to a construction site and then just lead it when I ain't never did construction. I can't go in the construction site. Hey, you know what, yo, you need to take that down and put that over here, and I think we need to put more gravel down. Like it just don't make sense, y'all. It don't make sense. And for the people that listens to y'all and agrees with them, problem, yo, because you call it a problem because how can you agree with a person that don't know? Like, I'm getting more flack than him. And I know what's going on in the black community. I know what the issues is. I know how we got there. I know how things can be changed to fix it. And it ain't police. But y'all sit over here and say, oh no, you playing the victim. You don't know what but you listen to Nick Fuentes. Come on, man. Make that shit make sense. Yo, but hit that like button. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel so never day keep you news. And I'm out.